So we've got 2 topics today that we're going to get into. The first topic is a topic that I feel it's going to be a lot of emotions around it.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot
emotions,
of...
you know?
Yeah. That word emotions for men,
I
it's
don't want to
something
be bawling, where's the tissue?
Is there any tissue? And I forgot to bring tissue.
See?
And when you guys are watching this, make sure you get some tissue. I'm putting a hazard out there from now. Disclaimer, when you watch this one, please have tissue. Because this topic on fatherhood, that's what we're getting into. It's very deep on many levels.
Very.
And I want us to talk about it in the best way that we can. Myself, as a father, as well too, Mikey, your father, yet to be a father.
Coming
so, you know, coming very soon.
Very soon.
This man was on holiday the other day.
Yeah.
Living it up,
Let's
shirt
count back
open.
to-
Sunshine. Missing on WhatsApp. Not checking in.
All those cocktails and stuff.
Yeah. We're just we're blowing him up on camera. So we might edit it, we might not edit it.
Yeah, allow me,
but coming soon. Children coming soon.
Yeah.
But let's get into this topic. So I do have some questions that I want to get into. Guys, as you know, this is not like a Nathan show. This is us having real discussion. Us being transparent. Everyone kind of asking questions. Everyone having some form of input. And I think something's just coming to my head, like on the next one when we're filming sometime, we might want to put the topic out there first. And then get people to send us some questions in.
Yeah, that's
and we
a good
try
idea.
and answer those questions
That's
live.
a good idea. That's a good idea.
So look out for that.
Yeah, that's good.
Check us out on the gram. We got some stuff coming. So in terms of fatherhood, I want to just find out from everyone in the space, and anyone can just jump in. What is fatherhood to you? Obviously you're not a father yet, but you have a father.
Yeah.
So let's go this way. Like, what is fatherhood to you? What is it?
Fatherhood to me, someone who protects. It's like Bishop Brooks now. Someone who protects, obviously guides and leads their family. In the home, obviously we go church. You're the priest of your home as well. For me, I think, and again, I think I have to call back into my own experiences. I think it's important to be present as well. Do you know what I mean? I think sometimes it's a misconception that because I'm providing or I'm giving money, then that constitutes to what fatherhood is. And I'm being a father, I'm taking care of my kids financially. But I think, as you mentioned in the check-in, it's important that as fathers that you're very much present with your children. Do you know what I mean? And making sure you're there. And from childhood, I think in the first few years it's very important. Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of men that I miss out on being present at a certain age and trying to enter into the life later. And that's very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Especially when you're trying to lead, again, back that lead, because you're leading by giving instruction, but it's kind of like, why should I listen to you? You were never here. Do you know what I mean? So, to kind of answer your question, more about the guiding, the leading, and definitely protecting as well. For me, in a short snippet before I kind of get into my, obviously my personal relationship as well.
But you highlighted something. I'm going to come to you, bro. You highlighted something. You said, in the early years, if you're not there as a father and you try and engage in the later years, it's harder. Let's kind of get into that a bit more. Like, why is it harder?
I just think when you're not there, you don't have the relationship. It's hard to kind of enter back in and kind of almost jumpstart relationship, especially with a child. Do you know what I mean? I think back to be fair, in my personal life, my dad was present. So in my earlier years, I was born up until I was about 13 years old. Then, as we spoke about earlier, he got a job where he was working away. So he was never at home. But although, and again, I love my dad to bits. So we've had some challenging moments I'll come to later. And obviously, I never disrespect my dad and I always honour him. But he was good in terms of education, push education good. He was really good at doing that. Financially, he was the man making money. Anything I needed financially, I was always good. I was back in the day when I was in high school. In my day, it was Rockports, £150 for Rockports, and everyone was wearing kickers and pads. I was coming to school like
£80 to get the soul redone,
bro. But I had everything that I needed. You know what I mean, financially. But my dad was always working. It got to a point when I was in high school, he would work away Monday to Friday. He'd be in London, come home on a Friday. And then go back on Sunday to London. Do you know what I mean? And I had a bit of that, my dad being in the home, but I've seen the difference in terms of my brother by not seeing that all the time. Do you know what I mean? And it's very difficult to, again, start that relationship, which is why I think it's important to be present, because it's hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, to go from zero to relationship, especially when you're trying to give instruction. Because as a father, normally the mother's the nurturer, and the baby would normally like, wait till your father gets home, and everyone, everyone was always scared of dad. You know what I mean? So, but it's hard to instill that and give correction and direction. Where it's like, well, who are you, bro? Like, you ain't never here.
True.
You don't care.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And a lot of children will feel like that, where it's either a level of rejection or neglect because you're not here. I'm not important to you. Work's more important to you, or you're doing this, so they don't feel that. Do you know what I mean? And it can come out as in resentment and bad behaviour, misbehaving at school. I know I did the same thing when I was younger. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But
Wow. Okay, we're gonna hold that. There's so much that you gave there, and I want to jump on it, but I want to go over here first and just hear from Mike in terms of like what is fatherhood for you? Because obviously you have a child.
Yeah, I think for me, fatherhood it's so important. Like, I'm going to go with the 2 P's that resonates with me, which is provide and protect. There's also an element of being present. That's super important. With my daughter, she turned 4 on the 20th of April, and it feels like my whole being is just to protect her. So whether that means protecting her from conversations in the house, or protecting her financially.
As Elder Carl says, money is a defense.
Exactly. It feels like it's a constant effort to do that, but it's a good effort. It's something that I want to do, and I model that from my own father, because my father is a family protector. Even to this day, he's still, you know, I'm a big man now, and he's still
big man.
He's still trying to protect. Like, if I call him and say, "Yo, like, Dad, how are you?" His whole thing is like, he's so worried that I'm going to come out with something that he needs to then react to. But that's never the case. It's like genuinely just a check to see, you know, are you good? His thing is like, okay, what's next? What do I need to worry about? And I kind of pick up the same thing with like my daughter being a father. So if she's gone off somewhere with mommy, or she's stopping one of the family members, it's like in my mind I'm worrying, like, you know, what is she doing? Is she getting what she needs to get out of it? Do you get me? So I feel like as father, it's important to have an element of protection, but not too much, because you can be overprotective, and then when you get to a certain age, it might be a case of resentment, because you reduce the freedom that they would need to then grow. And I'm learning that, because my dad wasn't like that. My dad was just like this. And I understand why he was like this, and I'll go into a little bit more about the relationship with my dad, but I've seen massive traits that I'm really kind of showing now to my daughter. It's good, and it's also concerning. Do you get me? But like I said, I'll go into detail a bit more, but for me, definitely. And being present, like I touched on being present a little bit. Being present, because my dad, obviously, my dad and mum had to leave Jamaica. They had the opportunity to leave Jamaica quite early, so I was left as a young one in Jamaica. Didn't really have parents, so my grandmother grew me up. But even though he wasn't present, I still felt his presence, because he kept coming back every opportunity that he got. Obviously, he was trying to sort out his citizenship in the UK, but I saw more of him than I did mum. So it was almost that even though he wasn't present, he always had these check-ins that I can
yeah.
remember as, you know, as a child. And for me, like, I replicate that with my daughter Sinaya. Like, when she's away, I try not so much to check in all the time. Let her carry on, let her do what she's doing.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I'm doing this. Like, let her go. But doing it's difficult. But I realize where it's coming from. It's coming from dad, because that's how dad is.
Yeah.
Can I ask on that as well? You mentioned, because I just want to jump on that, because you mentioned your parents moved from Jamaica
Yeah.
to the UK and you left back. And I remember even Bishop's had the same experience when he spoke about it as
really
well.
young, really young.
So, at what age were you quote unquote reunited or moved with your family?
Yeah.
And as a child, what was going through your head as a child in terms of mum and dad are over there?
Yeah.
I know you're close to your dad as well, particularly. So, what was how did you feel?
I think, you know what, growing up in Jamaica, I don't think you get a chance to feel. Like, you're just growing up. Like,
Okay.
The only thing you really felt was hunger. Well, that's the only thing that I can remember.
Wow.
It's like feeling hungry all the time.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't an opportunity where I can, like, I'll grab this and grab.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to fight for what you want to eat.
Survival.
Yeah, I remember, like, having to be creative. And I think this is why I'm so creative now, that I'm making up all these things and then selling them so I can get something to eat.
Wow.
So that's really the only thing that I would say, you know, in terms of referencing feelings
Yeah.
that I could really remember. But
Wow, that's
when
so deep.
It is, you know.
when I actually realized kind of that my parents wasn't about, it was more when I was probably about 9, 10, 11.
Okay.
You get me? Because I came to the UK when I was 11, so that was in 1997.
Yeah.
And even at the airport, like when I got to the UK, my dad and mum was there, but then obviously because my dad was present every now and again, I looked at him and I was like, Dad, who's that woman? Because I didn't know my mum. I was only raised by my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
I remember that obviously I've got a mum, but you know, even saying it was like it's a little bit emotional because there's a different relationship with my mum than it is my dad.
Yeah.
So for me, having to ask my dad, like, who's this lady?
Yeah.
And then he is the one that's saying, yo, that's your mum? I'm like,
Wow.
Okay. So even coming here at 11, still trying to build that relationship with my mum, where it is really easy with dad because, like I said, he's been present.
Yeah.
Do you get me? But like going back to your thing in terms of how I felt coming to the UK, I felt like it was just a visit. I'm just visiting them temporarily.
Yeah.
I didn't know everything was like sorted out from a citizenship perspective. So I was here permanently after coming at 11. So I was like checking, like, you know, I'm ready now after probably a month or so to go back to my grandmother because you know that's what I knew. But I realized that wasn't going to happen, and that made me emotional. Like I'm saying, but my grandmother is my mum. Do you get me? So when am I going to go back to mum? Like that kind of thing. But yeah, that's the only kind of really feeling. Like I felt like my parents as such was temporary. Because obviously I had what I needed from my grandmother.
That's all you knew.
That's all I knew.
Yeah.
Do you get me? So it was being in Jamaica, it was a more feeling of hunger and fight. Coming here is a feeling of like temporary. Do you get me? So those kind of things, different country, different feeling.
Yeah.
That's crazy because you're kind of talking about environment, and like your environment is shaped you.
Yeah.
In
Definitely.
a certain sense, and now because you're like a tree that's been planted here, you've been uprooted and put in a whole different soil, and now your roots are trying to grab onto something, but you don't know what's there to grab on.
Yeah, trust me.
So that's just so deep and so many levels. And you talked about adversity that made you creative.
Yeah.
Albert Einstein says adversity introduces a man to himself. So whatever adversity you experience, whatever you put inside, that's going to come to the surface. If there's nothing there, then
I think just to even add to that, like when I came here at the age where I needed to do one more year of school, so I went to school for, I think it was year 6.
Yeah.
And trust me, I was a tyrant because there was no discipline really, like
over here,
because I didn't have discipline back home in the sense that there was a father figure. I was uncles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, when I came to this country, it almost felt like an opportunity of freedom to do what the hell I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So being in school, I'm
Holiday
like,
mode.
who are you? Like, you can't talk to me and do anything.
Yeah.
And this is like year 6, I was young.
Education system's different.
Do you get me? I'm like, people are like dealing with me and talking to me a certain way, and I'm like, sometimes I'm extremely quiet, but when there's an outburst, like, I can't control that part of me. Do you get me? So, and this is where like another father figure had to step in, so Bishop stepped in. Like Bishop came to, primary school and secondary school to say, yo, you know what, you need to understand the background and
culture and it.
And even then, when Bishop stepped in, I was like, "But who are you?
Yeah.
You're not my father." So we had that conversation last week.
Last week.
I owe a lot to Bishop, because Bishop turned my life around. Literally, just by wanting to be there. Like, there's a difference with if you're forced to just help because you are the pastor of the church. But what I've sensed with Bishop, he wanted to be there because he was of a similar culture.
Yeah.
And he knew that if I didn't turn around, he probably would have been in prison or something like that.
Yeah.
Easy. So. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. I'm gonna introduce something into the space now.
What about yourself?
Yeah. So for me, in terms of fatherhood, and I think you just covered it all. You've talked about being present, providing, protecting. Those things are very key. You can have being, govern and guiding, and making sure that you're guiding the family. You've got a vision for your household. All that stuff wasn't introduced to me from an early age. Like, I heard about all this stuff when I came into church and met Bishop and sat down with Bishop and talked with him, and that's when he started to tell me about fatherhood and those types of things, and marriage and husband, and I didn't know any of that. So I was about, how old? 30s, coming into church. Like, I've done the madness. Like, get me. Like, but in terms of like fatherhood myself and my dad, great relationship with my dad from a young age. He was present too. But when I got to the age of, I think it was about 10, my mum and dad split up. And I always remember that day till now. Like, it's not something that you just get over. And I haven't had a conversation with my mum or my dad yet. So they're probably going to see this and like, whoa, okay. And that's how real we're being right now. I just want to understand, like, this is real stuff. He left, and I only saw him on the weekend. But Mikey was present. Like, every weekend, it was like, boom, I'm coming for you. And we're going to go and do this. And we're going to go and buy that. And I'm going to take you to your nan's on a Sunday. That was like routine. He wanted to be there.
Who was that, sorry?
This is my dad.
Okay.
Every weekend, he was just on it.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, great. We did loads of stuff. Like, we went raving and stuff. Like raves, big raves. Like,
I'll touch on that as well when you
raves. I'm like proper raves, big raves in. I can't even get into some of this because my mum would be like, "Yo,
it's No Fluff."
Where did you take this brother? So I'm just gonna be real. I think just be real. He took me to a rave one time on a Sunday. So we're supposed to go.
You went in church,
bro. I went to church. I did go to church on a Sunday. It was a Catholic church, and it was just like, it was too like, for me. I was like,
a few Hail Marys and Hallelujahs.
Yeah. Did all of that. But one of the Sundays, there was a boat party. This is when garage music came out. So he was like, yo, we're not going to your nan's today. We're going to this garage party. And I think it was Andy Ward them days. But there was a hip hop boat and then there was a garage boat. I was hip hop all day. Rap music, that was me. And I was like, "Lo, let's go on this." And he's like, "Nah, we're not going to go on the garage boat." When I say we went on this garage boat, on some little water canal thing, it was just sick. Everybody was just bubbling on this garage boat. When I saw the R&B boat coming past, dead, nothing. So I was like, "Yo, this garage music is sick." And I started getting into it. Next time now, we go to London Carnival, and there's a big rave in the Coliseum. I'm about 16, I think. About 16, yeah. And my uncles and all that stuff. We're going to this rave, I don't even tell you about the madness in the hotel, but anyway, that's the madness. Going to the rave, and they were like, "Oh, you're gonna stay here," kind of thing, and we're gonna go to this rave. And I'm like, "No, I want to come," kind of thing. So I was like, "Yeah, here's a day ticket. Come with us. If you don't get in, you have to go back to the hotel and just wait for us to come out in it." And I get there and go to the front door. Them slipped through. The guy's like, "How old are you?" I'm like, 21. What's date of birth? Boom. Told him the date of birth. Got the numbers right.
Think
like,
fast.
Yeah, you sure? And then my uncle said, yo, he's with us. And they let me in, and I went to this rave. When I tell you, garage music was booming. There was Mariah Carey in the rave. Busta Rhymes, Fugees, Jay-Z was in there. Who else was in there? Big like rappers, artists.
Wow.
And then ever since that, basically, we used to just go to like Tim Westwood's raves. Footmaster Flex used to come over from America. All these big American DJs. So those are the kind of experiences my dad gave me.
Sounds alright.
Sounds like a good experience.
It's a great story. He was there for that, all of that. But then when I had my own children, the same thing happened to me. Because of decisions, choices. I broke up with my boy's mum. But it was a matter of having that still wanting to be there. Because my dad had taught me, this is what you do. This is what I did for you. I did the same thing. So I made sure that I was getting my kids on the weekend. I made sure taking them to school and nursery kind of thing. Just being present. And trying to provide it the best way that I can. So, you know, I know you guys have probably got questions.
I was going to jump on that because I'm aware, like myself, like yourself, there's a lot of people watching this that, especially in this day and age, there's not a lot of parents that are still together. And there's a lot of parents that are split up, mostly through to infidelity. And then that leaves the children, most time, and not all the time, but most time it's the man cheating on the woman. And then the children are always either mommy's boys or, I don't know, mommy's girls, but I know my experience, I'll come to it in a bit, when my parents split up, it's that reason, and I had a stepsister.
Wow.
And I'll come to the question I want to ask in a minute, but just a bit of context for me. So I'm 19 years old. In church. The way that people look at me now today, look at that about, I'm this guy always fasting and praying. I was actually that guy back then.
Reverend James.
Like literally back then, like I never drank alcohol ever. I never smoked, never went to a club, never had sex. I was a good boy. When I found out that my dad cheated on my mum and they broke up, it broke the whole world.
Wow.
Like everything that I thought was real, like you said, coming from Jamaica to England, it's like a whole new world. And because my dad was quite strict growing up like that as well. It's almost like, imagine Bishop Brooks being strict. And then you find out he's on a madness like that. You'd be like, but Bishop, he's so strict. So obviously I'm like, you're a hypocrite, do you know what I mean? So, and then there's a resentment for what you done to my mum. You can hurt me, but to hurt my mum, bro, nah, man. Do you know what I mean? So, I guess my question to you, because my question was, that affected my relationship with my dad, as you can imagine tremendously. I went from being this good Christian boy, literally a few months later, started drinking for the first time, drinking all the time, started smoking weed, started having sex, but I got tattoos. I went crazy. I was a totally different person because what happened in the home, and then my relationship with my dad, in the first instance, kind of almost shattered. Do you know what I mean? And I'm looking at you back in the day as my dad. He's the money guy. You get me? People look at him in the community, and then it's like, okay, stop. I love him today. This is what, to be clear, we're cool now, but it's where I was back then. To my feelings, my emotions. But there's a loss of respect. Like, how could you do? We talked about it being present. We talked about protecting and guiding. I'm seeing this. I'm like, but you're not present anymore because you're working, and then you're not protecting. You're meant to be protecting us, but you're actually hurting us. So the very thing you're meant to do, you're doing the opposite. So my head was all over the place. I didn't go to Tim Westwood parties, don't get me wrong, but I was in a bit of a madness.
That's not even the half of it. I got so many other stories.
And then I left church. I started backsliding, left church. But for me, when that happened to you, again, there's a lot of people watch this that, although you got a good relationship with your dad and you saw with you right now, and I've got a good relationship with my dad now, but there's people that are still in that position right now where there's resentment, there's hatred. there's anger towards their father. So when that happened and you found out, I don't know the reason why your parents split up, but obviously your dad being at the home, were there impacted? So how did you feel, your dad not being at the home? If that was the case, again, I don't know your scenario or your situation.
Yeah, I was devastated. I was heartbroken, and I think for everyone, as a child at that point, what you try and do is like you hope for them to get back together. You hope, and it's like in your head you have to hold on to that. You know what? They're gonna get back together. Like even you're just watching and seeing them how they interacting and kind of stuff. Are they gonna get back together? It's not until after many of years you think, yo, they're not getting back together.
Yeah, that's it.
Because now this person's in their life.
Yeah.
You get me? And this person's just coming into their life. So now you're seeing these other people, and now you've got to try and build a relationship with these other people.
Did you do that at first with other people? How did you find that?
Yeah. Like, especially for my dad, because he got married. You get me? But he wasn't married to my wife. But over here, he got married. So it was a matter of building a relationship with his wife.
How was that though? Because
it was difficult. It was challenging, and it's not a conversation really that I've ever had with my dad.
Okay.
Like I'd probably like to have it with him. So if you're seeing this, like But it was difficult because the relationship me and my dad had was very tight.
Yeah.
So it wasn't difficult for us because we were tight.
Yeah.
It was difficult for his wife.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like she was kind of jealous of the relationship that we had because it was so tight. Like nothing could come between it. But at the same time, my dad respected my mum, like good. Highly.
That's good.
And my mum respected my dad, and they made sure that they kept it like that.
That's good, man.
They kept it like that. They never talked about each other in a bad way. They just hid everything from me, like just made sure he's protected.
Yeah, that's good.
So they kept me protected in that way and just safeguarded me. Yeah. So I didn't have really any animosity towards my dad really, because he was still present, and he wanted to be there, and he was doing what he needed to do in the best way that he could. Yeah. And I never judged him for it. But yeah, like over the years, it's like we kind of grown apart. Yeah. And it's kind of like I got married and got children, and I'm doing my thing, and I think for my dad it was like, I don't know what I need to do now. Like he's good in it. He's good, bro. Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. Like, he's married now. He's got children. Like, he's doing what he needs to do. Like,
but is
good
it
now?
That's the question.
Yeah, and that's.
Because I think you need your dad.
You need
throughout life.
That's period. It, bro. That's it.
Period.
You do.
There's never a chance that you get to say, "Okay, I'm not going to be a dad anymore." That's rubbish.
Yeah.
You always need that.
Yeah.
But I think what's key as well, because I had this before when you just mentioned that, is having a conversation with your parents. Like I had a conversation with my dad. I'm very, as you can tell, I'm very vocal. We need to talk all the time.
Yeah.
So when I had a conversation with my dad, as you just said, like you're grown, you're successful, you got your house, you got your beautiful wife, you got your 4 kids, and everything's cool. That's what my dad, he had the same mentality. But when you ask the question, it goes back to their experience with their father.
And I want to get into this now.
Because his experience was with his father, my granddad, great job as well, but he was kind of like, as you said, not overprotective, but you're good now. Go. But I said to my dad, like, Dad, I know that's your experience with your dad, but that's not my experience, because times change, and if you've got multiple children, different people need different things from their father. So you got 4 boys. One boy might need a lot of looking and kissing. Another boy just needs something different. But I think
one of them just needs a conk. Straight.
Sorry. But I think, and this is what I want to say, I think it's very important. If you've got difficulties in your relationship with your father, or you want a change in the relationship with your father, I think it's upon us as sons or daughters to communicate that, because they don't know. I think there's a lot of fathers out there that feel guilty, that feel ashamed because the things that they did to you, or to your mother, or to your thing, and they think, you know what, you're better off without me. And I think I had to, I don't know what going for my dad said, but I said to my dad, like, I love you and I need you in my life. I'm a big man, I'm married and everything, but as you pointed out, I still need you. There was a time I was in church before, we had a church service, and it was about fatherhood. And I remember my sister was crying, and I was like, bro, I was bawling. And a bishop came and he hugged me, and I said, Bishop, we spoke, I forgot, I don't know why I'm crying, like, I'm cool in life. Why am I crying? He goes, because there's an emptiness there, James. Your dad's not there. We still talk, he lives in New York, and we still talk, and he comes over, we meet up and stuff, so we still got a relationship, but it's not how it was. I mean, because I was used to him being there, where he's there.
Yeah.
Now it's like he's not there, or he's only there at a certain point. So it's like subconsciously or deep down, you're craving for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Give my honest opinion. My honest opinion on that, and this is what makes me angry sometimes. And this is what I said to myself, yo. I would never want a child out of like wedlock. You know, it's typical Jamaican, like, yo, 4, 5, 6 baby mothers all over the place. I was never interested in that.
Yeah.
But being real, I feel like some of the man them just need to stop thinking about fatherhood as this checkbox exercise. Where like, yo, this is done now, check it off. This is done now, check it off, because it's damaging to the relationship. Because when you feel in that void as a man, in your father's head, it's like, but I already checked that off, I don't need to go back there. And that's damaging, that's hurtful. Because there's things that you need to see and happen in your father,
100%.
so you are able to then go through and say, yo, I need to go through that path as well. Like, so I feel like man just need to be honest with themselves and say, yo, this is not a checkbox exercise. You need, it's a life thing. Like
100%.
There's never a time where you're gonna feel like, okay, it's done now. Man should take. See, when it comes to kids, take responsibility. Responsibility is not until they're 18 or 21 or till they're married.
And not just money.
It's exactly. It's a journey. It's not about okay. Look at the checkbox and say, oh, I've checked off. I've given £100 this month. Yeah, I don't need to talk to the mother. I don't need to talk to the child. I'm sorry, being honest, but be there. Yeah, you're providing, but at the same time, you're missing out like
it's true, bro.
Key things. I just wanted to drop that in because that.
Yeah, it's true. That's what
this is just so deep. For those that are watching, get the tissue, man. Get the tissue, because I feel like the balling's coming.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that today.
But yeah, I'm gonna share this with you. So I've got these images. I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna give you that. And I'm going to show the camera this. What you guys have just shared, I think this image kind of highlights some of it. So what I want to do now is really just look at the image and just tell me the first things that come to your head. Like literally just throw them out.
Can I start?
Go, man, go. I know you're a visual guy, so I need you to bring this into the space for you. You're a creative.
You see, for me,
and a designer, so
this image, like, it represents so much. It represents even my dad today.
Yeah.
Like, even though the image is saying, yo, your dad's literally giving everything, so you can then be, like, as a man, feel complete. There's always gonna be holes in you that it's never really going to be filled. So regardless of the amount of missing space in your dad. And he thinks that there's always going to be something.
Wow.
And another side to it that I see is like, and I'm using my dad as an example. My dad will give and give and give and give until there's nothing left. And this is what I'm scared about. This is what makes me emotional with my father.
Yeah.
Because he will just continue just giving.
Yeah.
And if you look at the image, to me what the image is saying, the more you give, the less you have. And I want my father in my life. It might sound selfish, but I want him there as long as possible.
Yeah.
And this toxicness in terms of constantly giving, there'll be nothing left.
Wow.
This is an early grave situation that I'm seeing here. As much as like, as a son, you feel like you're getting and it makes you feel nice. You have to also, as a man, as a father, take responsibility and say, yo, Dad, it's okay. You don't have to give me this. Like I'm alright. Let's just talk, or let's just do something. You don't feel like you have to.
Yeah.
Because I need you to have your strength, so we can have a relationship, so we can go out and we can talk and all of these things. This image for me says a lot, and this displays my dad currently in his big 60-year-old age. Is like still giving and giving and giving.
Can I ask you that just so we understand it? Because giving is quite broad.
Yeah.
So when you say giving, are you talking about financially? Are you meaning emotionally? You talk about your dad. When you say your dad's giving, what is your dad giving?
My dad gives me everything. Like, it gives me time, which is big. Like, if I wanted to talk about something, I pick the phone up and just start talking.
Yeah.
I'll be really, transparent with you. My dad, like, I'd probably say about 4 weeks ago or so, you know, I called my dad to say, yo, I'm really struggling like emotionally. I felt like things were closing in, and I kind of burst into tears on the phone.
Wow.
And my dad, half an hour, 45 minutes later, knocked the door. He was there.
Wow.
And that to me was big. Further from that, a couple of days after that, my dad called me and he was saying, yo, son, I'm sorry you're going through some of these things that you're going through. And then my dad started to cry.
Wow.
I've never, ever heard my dad cry.
Wow.
Ever.
Wow.
And that broke me.
Yeah.
So this, when I look at this image again, he's like giving back and giving and giving. So he's broken because he's feeling some of the pain that I'm going through.
Jeez.
And that was hard for me to take. I'll give you another example.
It's love, man.
When buying the home that I'm in now, the people them kept going, bidding higher and higher and stuff like that. And you know, the more the house is valued, then your deposit has to kind of go with that. So these people kept going higher, and I was like, well over 200, and I'm like, I'm not going to meet this. So at one point I thought, you know what, I will scrap it. And then my dad stepped in and literally gave me what I needed to get the thing over the line. And for me, I will always owe him that.
Yeah.
To me, that is big, because you've put me in a position to enable me to now be a father to Sanaya, to then put her in a position.
Yeah.
So it's that whole generation thing, but he thinks he's just helping financially, but it wasn't that.
It's bigger.
This is a generational
Bigger
thing.
thing, isn't it?
So for me, this image means a lot.
Wow. I'm gonna hear from you, bro.
I don't know. As I look at it, it just shows that the father's giving from himself, but it's from his back, from his heart, from his legs. It's different parts of me. So again, as we spoke about, it's not just giving one thing, because a lot of fathers will give from one part of the image, which is finance. Or some people only give time, but don't want to give them money. So they want to pick and choose what they want to give, and say, I'm doing my role, I'm doing one thing, rather than doing the complete thing. As I look at it, and if I think back to my own situation, my dad, the thing that's missing on this image specifically is about the heart, which to me speaks about emotion. My dad's been great financially all my whole life. Like, my dad's been great in terms of instilling education. Like, you lot know what I'm like when I'm working. You know I'm intense.
Diligent.
I'm on it. I get that from my dad. My dad's, if you know my dad, he's on it, man. He don't play. I get that because when I do anything, as you know, I get obsessed with it, as you know. Whether it's the word of God, whether it's a future spark, I give everything. My dad does the same thing too. But for me, and again, there's no shade, because again, love my dad. And I honor him, but it's just a case of, for me, the missing bit, and I feel that for myself, is the whole emotion bit. Like, you talking now saying you needed someone on the phone that you broke down, and your dad came there.
At the door.
That's alien to me. And there's a lot of people watching this right now that to them is like, bro, I can't imagine my dad doing that.
Some people don't even know where their dad is right now.
That's what the situation is. So you're blessed.
How are they going to feel that?
To blessed to have that. And it's weird. I'll give you an example now. When my nan died early this year, it's broken, bro. I was at church and at New Jay, and you know my Uncle Michael and my Auntie Millie. My dad obviously reached out to me, was there for me, could do what he do. He lives in New York because he's not physically here, can't do anything. And my Uncle Mike came to me, I'm fucking going to go break now. But he came to me, he went to me, are you okay? And I went, yeah, I'm cool. He goes,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
He went, James, how are you doing?
Yeah.
And then he grabbed me and he hugged me.
Yeah.
Bro, I started bawling.
That's the next
and
level.
crying. And crying. And he goes, I love you. And again, don't get me wrong. Again, no shade. My dad is not emotional. Doesn't do things like that's not him. Neither was his father. And there's no shade, because some people are just like hardcore men.
Hardcore.
But to have a man embrace me in a fatherly way and say I love you, bro, that messed me up, man. It caught me off guard. Again, I've never experienced that. Do you know what I mean?
It's the same in the last episode when you said you don't know how much when someone says, or your dad says, I'm proud of you.
It's
the same thing.
It messed me up. So when I look at this, I feel like this guy here, the son, where I'm complete financially.
Yeah.
I'm complete. I'm in church.
Yeah.
I'm doing ministry. I'm complete in the whole. Because people look. My dad said to me, he goes like, "You're doing well. You're married. You go on holidays. You're good, man. You're good. You're good." But it's like I'm not though, man. Because there's a hole missing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's that. It's that emotional side to it. But for me, again, from my experience, it's no shade because no father's perfect. Some fathers are good at giving time but not money.
Yeah.
Some fathers give money but no time. Some fathers, they're emotional but don't give any money. No one's
it's not a
perfect.
perfection
So
thing,
I look at my dad and I take him for who he is because I'm not perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate everything he's done. And again, it's in the top of the notes, but I believe in life, if you don't have a natural father there are father role models. You mentioned about Bishop.
Yeah.
He's been huge in my life. I'll come to that later, and my brother's life as well. So there's always people out there. I mean, even in the Bible, you had the Apostle Paul read Timothy. It's like a spiritual father to him. Everyone in here has got some kind of relationship with Bishop or Elder Carl, where they've helped you in a certain way that maybe your dad couldn't do. Because maybe they're not in church. It's no shade on them, but Bishop can do certain things because he's got that thing with God and the discernment to say, okay, I can see that hole. You need this in your life, Mikey, but you need this in your life, Nathan. But James, you need this to get what I'm saying. But that's what I see when I look at this picture for me personally.
Powerful. I just want to bring a couple of other perspectives into it, and then we're probably going to move on. But this is something that I unpack a lot. Like, this is a kind of like a tool that I use when I'm going into prisons and I'm working with the guys, or I'm sitting down with some of the youngers and we're doing a forum. This father issue is quite big. It's massive. But let's look at it like this. The father, all of these missing pieces, maybe his father didn't give him those pieces.
That's another level, that is.
And then his father never gave him the pieces.
Wow.
So it's not that it's his fault. It's that his father didn't give him the things that he
He's
needed.
working from an incomplete place.
There you go.
Working from an incomplete place. And now he's trying to give the son something that he actually doesn't have.
Yeah.
Or even understand.
So you can't give emotion to someone if you don't understand it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So it's very deep on many levels. And in this is also too, maybe the son's giving something to the father that the father doesn't have, but the son has. And now he's taking from the son.
I didn't even see that, I didn't even see that.
It could have been a case where he's handed it to him, and maybe the dad don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
With it,
That's
his
deep.
hands still. Where do I fit this in?
Where do I fit this in?
Yeah. Crazy.
That's deep, you know.
I call it unpacked and not assembled. Because who teaches you how to be a father? Who teaches you how to be a man? Like, where's the guide for that? You can go to IKEA and buy something from IKEA. When you get home, bust out the instructions and put it together. But when you have a child, how do you like kind of nurture that child? Where's the blueprint to raise that child? And then when you become a man, how do you become a man? What does it look like? When you become a father, what does it look like? A brother, an uncle, a nephew, like all of these titles, all these roles, like you need a multitude of people to help you. They say it takes a village to raise a child. So I truly believe like these missing elements, us as men, this is why we have to come together. Because you have an element that I need, and you can help me fill that space. Likewise, and it's an exchange. So what we're doing here today is having that exchange,
definitely
offloading, and we're rebuilding, and we're creating these elements that people need. So I just love that you guys just being transparent, we're being open and honest, because
No
in
fluff.
that authenticity and that transparency, that's a building block. And as men, we're told to just suppress it, oppress it, push it down. You're a man, toughen up,
get on with it.
Get on with it. Keep going. There's no let me pick you up when you fall down kind of thing mentality. Really, it's like you're a man, get on with it. And then the whole God's telling us, yo, just be that Superman, and you're Superman.
In that getting on with it part that you just mentioned, like I remember this time, and this was way before, being on the straight and narrow. So in my dark Mikey side,
dark Mikey, sound like a Marvel.
Selling drugs was like, it was a thing. And there's like there's things that even to this day my family don't know that I did, in order to survive in a sense. you know, even best friends and stuff. There's stuff that I haven't even shared.
Yeah.
Because I thought I had to keep private to myself because I'm a man. I'm trying to make my own way in life. I remember this time with my dad, because I'm always traveling back and forth to London, and even though my dad at the time was living in London, he didn't see me. I one day he called and said if I'm all right, and like, say yeah, I'm good. I said I'm just in London. I said, I didn't know you. He said, I didn't know you were here. I said, yeah, I'm just here, just doing some stuff. My dad asked me a question that crushed me. He said, you're always in London, like, he says, Mike, you're not selling drugs, are you? And I'm like, I didn't know how to answer on the phone.
Wow.
And I said, this is the only time in my life, really, when it comes to my dad, that I felt like, in a sense, I had to man up and just say what it is. I said, Joe, Dad, I have to do what I have to do, you know. Like, I have to do what I have to do, so regardless. And when I said that, I almost felt crushed inside because my dad's always been there.
Yeah.
And this is one thing that I've kind of held back and not tell him directly what's going on. And I remember him putting the phone down. And for me, it felt like a massive disappointment.
Wow.
I didn't tell him this. I felt like a massive disappointment to my dad.
Wow.
Because he was shocked. He didn't know that this was going on in the background. And I just felt like I let him down. And I said it last week with Bishop as well. Like, with certain things that was going on in my life, I felt like, I let you down in a sense.
Yeah, I remember that.
But my dad didn't know all of this stuff, bro. And when he asked the question, I had the opportunity to lie, but then I couldn't.
Wow.
I just had to tell him the truth, and then I felt like he was disappointed. But we've left from there to being the best in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, over the last couple of years, it's been the best. I've taken my dad, on holiday where it's just me and him, and there's just jamming and stuff.
Yeah.
And just imagine bringing your dad back to the place, obviously, where he's born and raised.
Yeah.
And then he brought me, this is what brought me in Jamaica, and he didn't even know. He brought me to the gas station that he used to work as a mechanic and said, yo, when I got paid here, it was like $300 in a brown kind of thing. Bro, $300 is like, now in today's currency, probably £1.50 here.
Wow.
And he said that had to like bring him back to work and for food for a grandmother and food for me and school and all. $300, bro. Like, you can't even get a beer in Jamaica for $300. I went the last time and I think I blown maybe about 150, 200K. And that was like just over a week. When he said that to me, and bro, just imagine I'm there feeling the heat, and he was standing there working in it, and for 1 week he got $300. I looked at my dad in a different light. I said, I appreciate you, and I want to do everything for him.
Yeah.
So this is the relationship that we have now.
Yeah.
And to now see my dad in the position that he is now, like, it's mad. I'm so proud of him publicly and silently.
Yeah.
Like, when I see him, you see the way my dad dressed for 62.
Yeah.
I'm like, my man's wearing tracksuits, like Adidas track. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. It's in
and when
the
he looks at
surname,
my
man.
when he looks at, I've given my dad trainers.
Yeah.
And they look better on my dad than they did on me. I'm like, nah, man, this is he's taking the piss.
My dad's the same. My dad still looks good as well. Same
That's what I'm
age.
saying. But yeah,
Good.
I love the man. Seriously, I love him. He's always there. And I feel like the type of person he is, he will always be there. Regardless.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to add that a little bit in, man.
That's beautiful. I'm mindful of the time, and we're getting into so much. We've been going for a while, but we're kind of like closing on a hype. James, if there's anything that you do want to bring into the conversation, then please do bring that in. Mikey touched on some good things, and I'm gonna go away and take some of these things because I've been reaching out to my dad a lot. Recently said, Dad, we need to link up, we need to talk, but he's just on the move. On the move, like he's.
Don't underestimate a drink, like. When I don't mean like sitting just drinking.
This man always talking about drinking.
Don't underestimate saying, Dad, let's go for a drink. Since my dad has moved down from London to Birmingham, bro, we just go for a drink and we chill and chat. And I see my dad in a different light. He's laughing, he's joking, and I'm seeing his real. I know my dad's like Jamaican, because you see he's got like the Jamaican chain and all that kind of stuff in ring. But I'm seeing the culture that I missed out on. I see that in him when he's at the bar and he's ordering, and then he draws for his wallet, and I'm like, Dad, leave that. I've got it. Sure. It's like, nah. And then to see him like sit there with like a Guinness or a Red Bull, and then he's looking around and he's looking Jamaican hat. Bro, that kills me. I'm like, yo, that's why I said, don't underestimate just taking your dad. Because to me, that's how I got to see the real Jamaicanness in my dad. Taking him on holiday back to Jamaica and then just going for drinks.
I hear you. My dad lives in Manchester.
He's mad.
But he's just always on the move. Like right now, he's in a different country. He's on a holiday somewhere. And that's where he's been at. But
somewhere that's
you know, one of them ones, I'm trying to just grip him and say, Dad, let's talk. Because what you shared right now, it's important as a son and a father. That relationship is so important. And to have that conversation, continued conversation, until you're old and grey. It's got to be
continued conversation.
And real conversation too. Not just like airy-fairy stuff. Like, let's go deep. You know, I want to know where you're at. I want to know why you had all of these holes kind of thing. Like, let's talk about it.
Deep conversation. Because every time I go to Jamaica, we stay in kind of an apartment. What we do is that we will wake up and we'll make breakfast together. You see those breakfast conversations?
Yeah.
I learn a bag of things about my dad that I didn't even know. So we're going back to Jamaica together in October for a longer period. I'm, as a big man, looking forward to those breakfast chat. Because I know I'm going to get some nuggets. I never get personal with my dad in terms of like what happened between you and mum. Because I feel like that's your thing.
It's not that.
I want to know who dad is.
Yeah.
Who is Michael Chambers Senior.
Yeah.
So much so that you felt like you needed to give me the same name. I want to get into those conversations. So those breakfast, deep conversations. I love it, man. We're there cooking out ackee and this and rare. And we're chatting, and I'm like, yeah, man. I feel like more men need that kind of thing.
100%.
You get me? But in time-wise, I don't want to go too much.
I'll say one more thing for myself. I just think, again, to those that are...
There's so much other questions that we had here.
But yeah, we can probably do a part 2 another time with everybody else involved as well. But I think for everybody else that's kind of watching, if you haven't got a good relationship with your father, because he's done something to you or to your family, don't... I think I had this mentality where you're the father, you make the first move. You take the responsibility as the father. Don't have that mentality. Not saying that my dad did that, because we both met together. And sometimes he reached out to me and vice versa. So again, there's no shade and nothing like that. But don't have this mentality of they're gonna make the first move. My great grandma always used to say, "Those who know better do better." So if you know there's an issue, then deal with it. Sometimes you might be in a situation where your dad's got a lot of pride, or the fact that he's just ashamed of what he did, how he treated your mother, he doesn't want to come back into that and even talk about it. Because that creates a barrier. Because these issues now create a barrier for me to even reach out to you. And because of my pride, I'm not going to do it. But if you reach over, it makes it easier for him to, as I said, have a breakfast conversation, go for a drink and talk. So definitely do that. And as Nathan was saying, I think we need to be conscious. We look at our dads and we expect them to be perfect. They're Superman. They're the provider. But the reality is, our fathers were sons as well. And they went through issues. They went through trauma. They went through neglect.
They're still trying to figure it out.
They're trying to figure it out. So again, like, we got to forgive them. If your dad's done something, forgive them and let them know, man. Because I guess I said it before, but I say it again. Some fathers do stay away because they honestly feel that their children don't love them. Their children will never accept them, and they will never be forgiven. But when they can hear it and say, "You know what, Dad, I forgive you. I know this happened, but Dad,
that's gonna break.
That's in the past." I said to my dad, "I go, the past is the past." We spoke the other day. Be transparent again. We spoke the other day. He mentioned something to me because he mentioned something to me. And I said, "Dad, that's the past. This is now. We can't change the past. We will dealt with that. Now we're moving forward." Do you know what I mean? And we're a church, man, no one's perfect. God forgives us. So if we don't forgive other people, how we expect God to forgive us? And no matter what your dad done to you, what dad done to your mum, whatever, I guarantee what you've done in the sight of God in terms of sin is far greater. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
So I always say, yeah, reach out to your father, man, because everyone needs. And if your dad's passed away, if your dad's not there anymore, he's in another country, then reach out for mentors. People like I talked about Bishop Brooks, we talked about Elder Carr. Reach out for men that are role models in the community, in schools, in churches, because everyone needs that father figure.
Yeah.
And reach out to God. We're talking about fathers, but don't forget the heavenly Father too. We're talking about natural father, but don't forget the heavenly Father, because we can neglect that. Don't forget your relationship with your heavenly Father. Like he died on the cross for you to have a relationship. The reason why he created Adam in the garden was not for worship, in terms of worshiping and singing and playing or preaching. He created him to have a relationship with his son.
Yeah.
That's what we were created for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he did everything. He died to bring that back again when we were separated. So go to church as well and reach out to God.
Yeah.
That's you mentioned about no matter what you do, there's always going to be a hole. There are certain things in life that's going to be like a jigsaw puzzle. There's a hole that only God can fill.
That's it.
Your husband can't fill it. Your wife can't fill it. Even if you fix it with your father, can't fill it. But it's God, body, soul, spirit, and we need to connect with spirit to God as well. But that's my final 2 pence.
Yeah, awesome. And I say amen to that too. But yeah, just closing. If there's anyone out there, you don't have a father, your father's passed away, reach out to us. We're here as well too. Okay, this is No Fluff, Future Spark, but right here is a brotherhood. And, you know, we want to engage with people that are going through that same struggle. So if you don't have a father, reach out to us. We can put you into the right...
Instagram is Facebook.
Yeah, connect you with the right individuals. My boy here talks about counselling.
Yeah.
Counselling is good. Therapy, talk therapy, just talking about it and offloading the situation. So this is us, No Fluff, closing off, fatherhood.
Boom.